your girl, Nycci Nellis. Welcome to another industry night with me, where we go behind the plate and behind the pass with the people shaping how and why we eat the way we do. Now, what I love about this show is that sometimes I get to sit down in person with chefs. Like last week, I did this incredible conversation with Michelin starred chef Ryan Rotino. We did it inside the Equinox Gym at City Ridge. We did some working out. That was amazing. But then other times I get to connect with chefs from all around the country. I mean, just yesterday, I chatted with Tiffany Ortiz and Andy Dubrova from Nashville's famed Catbird Seat. But today, I'm headed up to the big city. I'm going to New York City for a conversation that I have genuinely been looking forward to. Today's guest, he's not just a chef, okay? He's a humanitarian, he's a filmmaker, an author, a television host. I don't know where he gets time to cook, but he's really one of the most compelling voices in hospitality right now. And he is on Industry Night with me. So, Chef Vikas Khanna is one of the first Indian chefs in America to earn a Michelin star. He was originally recognized for Junoon in 2011. Today, he is chef and partner in Bungalow in New York City. It's one of the most talked about restaurants in the country right now. Reservations are nearly impossible to score, but I am hoping to get one myself. Lines literally form down the block. So, what fascinates me most about Chef is not just his success, but the journey that brought him here today. Because he was born in India, he was told he would never walk properly, he was bullied throughout his childhood, and later homeless after immigrating here to the United States. And yet, I love this. And yet, he has built this extraordinary career fueled by resilience and spirituality. And his cooking at Bungalow pulls from all across the Indian subcontinent. And we get to really learn about the people who saved and shaped him along the way. So you should also know he has authored more than 40 books. I feel like that's not correct. He's going to tell me that's right or not. Hosted MasterChef India. He has directed films, he has spoken at the United Nations, and through his Feed India initiative, has helped provide more than 80 million meals to people in need. And somehow through all of that, he still has time to cook and time to chat with me. So today we're talking about it all. Chef Vikas Khanna, welcome to Industry Night.
Thank you so much. What a pleasure. Thank you.
Oh, I'm so excited to have you. So I want to start with Bungalow because right now it's one of the hardest reservations in New York. And there's this incredible energy around the restaurant. Did you know when you opened it that it would hit people this deeply?
Mm. I didn't want to open it also. I was like so skeptical. At age 54, you start such a big business. For people who do not know that running a restaurant in New York City is possibly one of the hardest jobs after running prisons. Literally, it's so difficult. And I've done that for so many decades, but this was my promise to my mom and to my sister,
Mm,
and that I would do something which lifts the entire water of Indian culture and cuisine in the world.
mm. Well,
So for
can
me,
we
this is
talk?
very personal.
I'm sorry.
For me, this is very personal. This restaurant is very personal.
Well, let's talk about why. What is it about your family that is reflected so much in this restaurant?
My family, where I was born with, and my extended family I work with, they've really influenced me through this journey.
Mhm.
And I feel that what we bring on the table as immigrants is not just the food. It's also every restaurant is telling a story of resilience, of survival. And it's not the easiest city for people who know New York. But it is but that's what makes it so great that you put a stamp in the city and the whole world pays attention. It gives permission to the world to behave a certain way towards cultures when New York City embraces it. So I felt that my all my families, my extended and my God gifted family have helped me to be here tonight, speaking to you today.
When you did Bungalow, when I think about Indian cuisine, um, I think it was in the New York Times, right? It described it as a lesson in regional Indian food.
That's right.
When I think about myself personally as a child, I grew up in New Jersey, right outside New York City. I was very fortunate to taste foods from all around the world at a very early age.
Right.
And I remember when the first Indian restaurant opened up, near me in suburbia. And now, there is Indian food available, but it's so subjective, right? I don't think unless you really look for it, you don't really know about the cuisines. India is massive. There's lots of regions, just like regional foods here in the United States. So how did you go about deciding how you wanted to present Indian cuisine so it wouldn't be unfairly simplified at Bungalow?
That's right. It's not what I know about the cuisine, it's also what I'm able to execute.
Mm,
I've learned that lesson, that it's not that what you know that you need to put it out. We keep changing the menus, we keep evolving with time. We keep doing specials almost every night. And we've not repeated a special, which is something which I feel very personal about it. For people who keep asking me this question, that how would you have this documentation? I'm one of the most well-traveled Indians you will meet within India, who traveled in the country. I'm also doing my third PhD, my third doctorate. For
wow.
me, it's also very important that what I have learned, what I have been expressed by people of the country, I put it in the most holistic, at the same time honorable way on the table.
Mm,
Our menu has only got 16 dishes, but we keep changing the menus. We keep some favorites, but we keep evolving. We had a Jewish Indian dish on the menu.
mm,
We have a dish from Portuguese roots. We have dishes which are so much based on the trades of India. And also some lesser known dishes, some of the favorites which people want to be introduced to. So I have to be very careful to the subject that it's a very busy restaurant, and we also have to understand what we can execute in the most freshest way possible, and not to be doing this whole thing where a dish can take 30 minutes to execute.
mm,
So we have to be very careful about what region and we do those difficult dishes to execute. We do that as specials,
mhm.
but it's amazing that a person who has more than 250,000 recipes from different regions of India is just trying to put 15 dishes and what makes it on the table. It's extremely difficult for me. Sometimes I have to kill my favorite child. And one of the favorite dishes, I'm like, no, let's remove that. Let's do something new.
Mhm.
And I feel that some days we've got to bring that back because it was a mistake to remove your favorite thing from the menu. But it's a learning process. Every day you are in the kitchen, in the restaurant, and every day you're learning that how what you need to make a new shift. Because we have such a huge documentation in such a large country to represent, I feel that me constantly coming up with creative ideas. Right now we are doing 36 weeks of celebrating India, where every week we pick up a state and pick up a dish which might be known or might be completely unknown, and we make that as a special. We tell people that on the weekends we do it. We tell the whole story of the state, the most important landmarks of that state. So for me, that's an amazing lesson in history, culture, cuisine.
I think you need that. It's so important to understand the roots and where it comes from. In fact, I've read about the flower ritual that you do before service every night. Can you explain its importance to me and why you do it?
We are extremely ritualistic restaurant.
Hmm.
There's nothing on the planet which does what we do at Bungalow. We use about 25 pounds of fresh flowers every day to decorate the place. For me, it's very important because I feel the flowers and the Ganga Jal ceremony, which is we used at 4:30 exactly. I go outside the restaurant, and we have two beautiful pots of water where we arrange flowers every day. That we also add four drops of Ganga Jal each pot. So that's 8 drops of water from River Ganges. So we put that to welcome everyone through our mother's energy.
Mm,
I also believe too much in the feminine energy. I feel some of the restaurants, you might be talking to chefs and all, it becomes extremely masculine. It becomes extremely to the point of transactional.
Mm.
But somehow the softness comes with all these little things we do every day. Now it's going to we are going to be almost 800 days old. We are, we are
Wow.
796 days old restaurant. And I count every day. It's like raising your child, and your every day feels like a blessing. But a restaurant to have that value system, a restaurant to even have a vision that we need to do these things every single day. Our most important artwork is on the ceiling of my class,
Mm.
where almost every day, depending on the weather, New York is difficult, as I said before.
Yes.
Even the weather is difficult here. We do all our floral arrangements, the biggest arrangements on the top of our ceiling,
Wow.
and which is unique. Nobody notices it. And some days, this is still summer, so the days are longer for people to see. But
Mm.
during the winters, it's 5 o'clock when the restaurant opens. It's dark, so
Right.
nobody even sees it. So people say, "Why would you put so much energy to answer your question? Why would you do these rituals and nobody sees it?" I said, "It's between me and God,
Mm.
and it's between me and my sister. And I know she's watching me from up there. So every day I do some floral arrangements on the glass ceiling for her to see it."
Well, that is so it that sort of touches me because you're doing it for you and to your sister, who I know has passed. Um, and but that brings that energy to people. The energy hits people whether or not they know why, which probably is why you're so successful. But it's a beautiful story. It sort of makes me think, you have this thread throughout your life of women, sort of protecting and supporting you, your grandmother, your sister. Um, there's a story about a Muslim woman who sheltered you during the Mumbai riots. Can we talk about those women's stories and how they sort of show up in your, not just your food, but also your films and your books? I mean, you just talked about leaning into the feminine energy. Can we talk about them and your childhood and how that brought you to where you are today?
So I was born with a disability. It's known as club feet. I've spoken about it much earlier.
Hmm.
It's a condition which is nowadays it's easily treatable, but 1970s in Amritsar, parents knew nothing about it, how to deal with this.
Mm.
But I think that's what led me to the kitchen and my grandmother's love for cooking and feeding people. And she got a free training to work with her. She was my first teacher and in cooking, and my mother was my first teacher in how to run a place. So at 16, me and my mom opened a small space, banquets, in back of our house in Amritsar.
Hmm.
And it was amazing to see her work so hard and all the rituals she followed every day. And my grandmother would cook, my mother would help me serve the people, and I was the connecting force. So later you realize that that was my biggest training ground, more than all the college degrees and doctorates. That is where I learned the basic foundation of hospitality. And then I moved to US in 2000, and my sister moved with me, and she was my biggest rock, and she was like a twin to me. And I saw her fight for me, for my freedom, for my right, for finding right places for me, for always having me as a center of this, that one day you would represent 2 billion people in Southeast Asia. And for me, that those all those things seemed like far-fetched. And I would tell her I'm just trying to survive job to job. And she's saying one day will come, well, you'll be the voice of them. You will be the one people will ask questions about the culture, and you'll be the one who'll be responsible for telling the stories. And I feel that that confidence, and I was extremely timid, extremely like I was extremely introvert, and she's the one who helped me open up. And I feel that she was a graduate from FIT,
Mm.
and she did a lot of odd jobs so that she could, many ways she could support me and to put me in the position which God gave me today. And I feel that that's amazing that you had all these people. And our restaurant is designed by Sheila Rizvi. She's like a sister to me. And if you walk into the restaurant, something hits you, what you said. It's not just the restaurant concept or business in New York. It's something which moves you deeply. I think Sheila's energy, and then now we have Sheila's daughter, Maisha. You see her working with me every day,
Hmm.
making sweets, doing small, small jobs. Um, she changes the entire energy of the restaurant.
Mm,
And one of the very biggest Indian movie stars, Shah Rukh Khan, said that, this is a restaurant, but because of her, it feels like a temple.
mm,
So I feel that it's very unique that a restaurant has this energy, which is nothing to do with me, nothing to do with me. It's what people are around me, have been around me, um, physically, or they are there in spirit. So I feel that that's what makes it into what it is. That it's almost impossible for me even to book a table there. And some days I want to bring my old employers, my friends. I can't. And we have to bring them, okay, be in the lounge, be patient, we'll figure something out.
mhm,
And everybody who's waiting in the lounges and waiting areas, or anyone who's visited Bungalow, maybe I only put myself into this pressure of making people feel they're home, they're visiting their grandparents' home. I feel that that energy is very universal. It's not based on that a culture which is predominantly Southeast Asian. It is a very universal culture of care and nurture and heal,
mhm.
because the DNA of the restaurant itself is so broken that it came from such place of darkness that the only way it could find its survival was through light.
Mm. Well, I read you said that when you eat out, you're not. I should have written it down, but it was something like, "I'm experiencing somebody's culture, not
Yeah.
just their cuisine." That you're going for this sort of education. That when you go, whether it's an Italian restaurant or any Chinese, whatever the food is that you're having, that you're experiencing culture and not just cuisine. And it sounds to me like you're infusing that into where you are with this restaurant right now.
It's true. It's also my last inning. I feel that I've been cooking for
Mm,
42 years.
mm,
My last 8 years. Oh my God, it hits me when I say that. So we have somebody in the restaurant, a guest made this beautiful gift for us saying March 23rd, 2034, make every day count.
mm,
And that hit me so hard. And I have that little piece of art, though I save every love letter and every little gift and every artwork people make. But that has really touched me deeply, that we know that everything is transient. We understand nothing is permanent. But to be conscious of that, that
mhm,
sign makes me conscious of that, that every day I'm responsible for making people travel across the world just to experience something which is so humble and modest.
mm,
So I feel that it's a very unique space for me. And it's also what you said, that when we visit a restaurant, we cannot measure everything by one yardstick of the Western idea of a restaurant. We all lose in that game. I just wrote an op-ed for Time magazine where I said that we can't be measured through a small lens of
mm,
what great food and what great restaurants or institutions are made on. We have to open our minds. I feel that some people come to a restaurant and they just want to experience French.
mhm.
I'm like, this is different. These are civilizational cuisines and cultures. If you put them in the small box, all of us lose.
Right.
And if you make our children feel inferior about not fitting into that box, we all lose. And for me, that is the biggest defeat of a culture where it doesn't fit into the Western idea of beauty.
Mm,
But it is, why can't we embrace the idea of infinite beauties and tastes? I feel that that's something so unique for Bungalow to stand on its own terms, to setting the cuisine free of those little boxes and to say that this is infinite. Embrace it, understand it. If you dislike it, you don't have to say that the culture has to modify.
mm,
If I don't
mm.
understand your language, that doesn't make your language inferior by any standards.
Right. Well, I'm sort of curious, in your time here, in your 40 years of cooking and being in the United States for as long as you have you have you seen more doors more doors open? Have you Do you see the consumer um, coming in more wide-eyed and excited as opposed to expecting French or expecting, the original Michelin right, was all French. And now it has opened up to all sorts of cultures and cuisines. Are you met with different expectations than maybe you were 10 or 20 years ago?
So my previous restaurant, we I received the Michelin star 8 consecutive years.
Hmm.
So I completely understand what your question means, even if you don't express it in words. I understand it very deeply. I'm one of the
Hmm.
few people who has experienced both sides of working extremely hard to impress a few inspectors or working extremely hard to represent a culture.
Mm.
I think my biggest victory came last week when I had a 100th birthday of a lady and 94th birthday sitting simultaneously on different tables. And both were on wheelchairs. And when the family asked them that, what way do you want to go out for dinner? And most of them have never gone out to eat because I feel most of the Indians cook actually better Indian food in at
Right.
home than in restaurants.
Hmm.
So both have this thing saying that both emails are so similar that it is their last wish to eat food from you.
Mm.
And I fed both of them personally. And it just broke my heart in so many ways that the idea of expanding that box,
Hmm.
that the beauty lied in something so much bigger. And the lady was 94 years old. She said something to me which made me, I had to take a break and I had to go in the back to cry. She said, it feels like after so many years I've gone back home. My parents are no more,
Hmm.
but I have a brother who would give his life for me. She think we all left home so many decades ago, but home became just an imagination. But when I had you taking care of my family and me, and she says, I know I'm having a lot of chronic diseases and I had a lot of diet restrictions, but I feel you read you redefined home for me.
Hmm.
You made me feel like I I don't have to travel home. Brought home to me, and I work hard even every day, 16 hours, and some days I'm
Hmm.
exhausted. I don't live up to what standard I've set for myself because I feel my sister is watching. So it's not that I have a manager or owners are watching me.
Hmm.
But for her to say that, it was so much deeper than any award I've ever received in my life.
Mm.
The moment she said that parents are no more, but my brother is there and he would do anything for me. So
Mm.
for me, it came to me at, I don't know what I was thinking, that it totally, because we knew that we were going to have two birthdays at the restaurant and we were planning special things, printing their pictures from childhood or their marriages. But her to express this as I was taking her through the wheelchair access, it just crushed my heart.
Mm.
I'm like, wow, there are restaurants, but there's only one bungalow,
Right.
which can make people feel that they've traveled back home, which they left behind, and there's no home anymore. It's just an imagination or childhood memory of
Mm.
happiness. And even if you attempt to do this, and I fail a lot, I understand because I only beat myself the most. Every day after dinner service, I tell my GM partner Samir, we could have done this better. And he's like, Chef, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, no.
Can we talk about it tomorrow?
I said, Samir, you will get a lot of chances. You have a long journey ahead of you.
Mm.
This is it for me. All these days I'm counting backwards. For me, this is it. And I'm making sure that it's not about a transaction. God does that.
Mm.
But I feel somehow I was never like this. I was all about those guides and all about those stars, and I was something has changed me at the end of the journey when I feel that your true power is authenticity.
Mm.
When you're not there to impress, you're there to heal in a way. I feel that shifted my entire trajectory. And having experienced such heavy losses in my life,
Mhm.
where anything, the only thing you loved was taken away from your hands. So it just made me so full, not empty.
Mhm.
Because of this restaurant, I have extended families. I have 10,000 people in the wait list every night. We sell out within 10 seconds. It's just because people want to feel something which is authentic, not what is there just to impress a few people.
Right. No, oh, I feel
Sorry,
like you
this
need
was
to, that's okay. I feel like you need to take it slow.
yeah. It was a good question, and generally I don't do that, but
No, and I
it was an
appreciate
honest
it
question.
because I mean, listen, the world of food has changed so drastically in the last 30 years, not just Michelin, but Michelin, James Beard, World's 50 Best. Like there's lots of New York Times, there's just all these people, eater, everybody wants to give awards, and there's a lot of chasing out there because the math of restaurants isn't what it used to be. It is harder to run a restaurant today. You said it in the beginning of the show. New York City is a tough place to run a restaurant. Um, so I appreciate that you've been through it, that you've been awarded, that you've received those accolades, but you haven't lost your reason for really doing this, or maybe you have found your reason for really doing this. I'd love to talk a little bit about Feed India and when you started that and how that became a part of your career.
So in 2000, when entire world was shutting down for pandemic, it was
Hmm.
end of March. My mom was watching news on television in India, which can
Hmm.
be extremely dramatic. So she called me and she said that would you help India because there's going to be famine, there's going to be hardships,
Hmm.
and, and I'm like, okay, I can start some food initiatives, which have you have the experience of connecting dots, a way to buy stuff and how to get this distributed. But everything what we saw during the time was against every vision of any person.
Hmm.
All the roads were blocked, everything was wrong. And I called my mom and said that I can't do this. It's too exhausting for me. And we don't see any sight when it's going to end. So what do I do?
Hmm.
I had book deals sitting on my table, which I had to finish. And she says something which struck with me. She's saying, I'm okay if you fail. I'm okay. My son tried, he failed. I proudly would say that. But my son didn't even try and he gave up. I would not say that. That will break my heart. That the child which was born out of resilience and rejection and humiliation says that I can't feel the humiliation or weight of being a failure. You've always done that.
Hmm.
You were born for that. You redefined it for everyone. That moved me. And maybe she was very broken watching what was going and what was coming in future. So we started this initiative called Feed India. We
Hmm.
served more than 84 million meals sitting in my New York City apartment so far,
Wow.
finding ways to connect dots of people who supplied food to the people who would carry them to the consumers. Some kitchens we would rented who would take the food and cook it for us, all the ingredients, and then distribute it. It was logistical nightmare,
Hmm.
but I didn't want to give it um, short of failure. I felt that it needed to be heard. And I remember there was, so as the world was evolving, so I wrote a whole book on it that when I saw migrant workers going back to the villages because the big cities were all shut down. And it broke my heart because they were walking on these highways. It was during this time actually, with the heat is so strong in India. And
Mm.
so I saw one of the news reporter was broadcasting this live that you could see all these people with broken slippers, many of them barefoot, just walking towards finding home. I saw a gas station in the backdrop. I'm like, everybody's walking, all the traffic has been stopped. Let me reach out to gas stations and we can make them into food stations or healing stations, we call them, where we will have some slippers donated by some people. We'll
Mm.
have some food and we can have some bags of some grains or something which they can cook on the way. You won't imagine that how many people came forward to support that.
Mm.
So within, I think, 72 hours, we had taken over more than 80 gas stations
Wow.
and we kept moving forward. So every time, and we broadcasted it on the news and on our social media, said, There are chances when you're going on the highway, please stop at the gas station. There would be chance of you get some medicine, some sanitary pads, some food,
Hmm.
and some water. So I feel that was a divine intervention when I could see things which nobody was seeing as an opportunity to support people.
Hmm.
So everything was everyday learning, keeping myself alert, having those lines and lines of people waiting to consume your food who wouldn't even know how did it reach there. But I feel there was a bigger hand of God in that, which made this all possible for somebody who's so broken in New York City,
Right.
thousands of miles away, and feeding his own country just by pure intent. And today's Eid, I remember during the Eid, and it's a festival where people come together. And as you said earlier, that I was rescued by a Muslim woman, but I also have a lot of my family which is Muslim. For me, it was very important that I celebrate Eid. So I reached out to big dargahs. These are big shrines where I said that, what if I give you food and you guys cook it and you serve it during Eid?
Mm.
And you'll be shocked that nobody said no. People were so open to this. People were like, oh my God, but how will you do this? I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I have no idea. But I wanted your yes to give me energy instead of demoralizing me and breaking the idea right at the
Hmm.
inception. And within, I think, 24 hours, we had Haji Ali Dargah, the biggest dargahs in Mumbai. And we had lines of people. We announced it. We didn't even have food. Now I can tell you openly. We
Right.
didn't have so many partnerships with people who would donate us fruits and dry fruits and lentils and rice and drinks and sweets.
Mm.
And I'm reaching out to people and I'm so scared. We only had few hours to organize this. And we did it. We had more than quarter million people, like quarter million meals, which were distributed at Haji Ali.
Isn't that amazing?
It's amazing. And then we got calls from transgender people or sex workers and leprosy centers and old age homes and orphanages. And they were like, we don't know why we trust you. We got this WhatsApp number. Can we work something out for these kids and these abandoned parents?
Hmm.
It was nothing to do with me, but I'm hope. I just wanted my mom to see a news flash in front of her that we are getting all this food from this guy in New York
Hmm.
who's just keeping a promise to his mom and who's pretty lazy. He would have not done it if he didn't promise her. So
Well,
this is nothing to do with me. This is, I don't take this as this is personal victory. I feel this is a universe signs you to do things, and some days you wake up to it, and some days you feel broken by it that I can't do it. But you were given the sign because the universe felt that you were capable of leading this.
is it something that you want to continue doing? Do you see yourself
We do
leaving
in
the
small pockets.
restaurant
Mhm.
behind and you focusing more on this? I mean, you've you're directing films, 40 books, the restaurant, Feed India. Where's your heart?
My heart is in the restaurant
Hmm.
because I feel it's the center of this whole thing. That a restaurant like this has the power to communicate to the people, humanize the people. I
Hmm.
feel sometimes the world is very unkind, sometimes to immigrants. And I think the greatest thing we lose is not home, is not parents or anything familiar, it's pride. Some days that is taken away from you. And somebody who's lived through that feels that a restaurant brings you pride. It
Mm-hmm.
makes you feel alive, a human. Um, I feel that a restaurant is the center for me. All these things God gives me in terms of making movies and all the stories come to me. I write all my movies, all my documentaries, and it comes to me in terms of science because at the restaurant, when once you visit, you will see that you might have never seen something like close to that.
Hmm.
I remember some of the chefs coming and telling me that why does everybody have to cook and bring some food to you? You're a chef. You should be serving them. I'm like, the only way Indians know how to express their love is through feeding you.
Hmm.
And all these people who are bringing food and standing in the line, they might not have reservation every day, but they come because they feel that their ancestors are honored here. So it is in terms of that pride which makes me do all these books and makes me write all the movies and direct movies and produce them. I feel that that is a center force, that you have the power to reach to the Congress and you can talk about some issues of the women and feel that we should all be coming together to, and this is small issues. If we all open our minds to it, we can resolve them. That only happens because I'm still a chef of my generation who is in the restaurant every night, 16 to 18 hours a day. So restaurant is my center of all the gravity.
Do you think that, given you've hosted MasterChef India, that that's helped not only promote you and your story, but also um, changed changed the perception of chefs in the Indian culture?
That's right. It had some effect. I totally agree on that.
Hmm.
And a show which is watched by 200 million people a night,
Right.
it's a massive lead of communication. It gives you an opportunity. It also happens to be a mom's favorite show. So I continue to do that for almost 2 decades. I'm doing. So people are like, how come you don't want to do 100 million things like everyone else? Oh, you do one television show, you do one restaurant, you do.
I think that's
Well,
good. You do a lot. I think you do a lot. You do. The movies, the books. You don't, I, based on our short conversation today, you don't need your name on everything. You have people who know you because of what you put out there already. Isn't that enough?
I agree. That's enough. I think what Mother Teresa used to say: it's never the big things, it's always the small things with love.
Mm. I
So
love that.
everything, every time I'll go, every time I taste a new dish, something new is coming up. Even placing the flowers or burning the incense,
Mm.
I know it means so much to so many people around the world, and I'm extremely proud of that. That this is something which doesn't require external validation, which is very rare for chefs to reach that point. It's
I was
very
going to
rare.
say, I mean, it's such an ego-driven business, you know? I mean, it is. Putting yourself out there on the line every night. Um, People who come in with expectations for an experience and your hope to meet them. I mean, it's a finite time that you are hoping to meet them. It's there's a lot of ego involved with that, no matter what.
It can be tough, but it's worth it. It's worth
Hmm.
fighting for. It's worth finding ways to open doors. I feel that when I read the New York Times, that's the first time I read a review.
Hmm.
Generally, I feel that it's not a review; it's just they're selling the newspapers and the headlines for more clicks. But when I read that review, it was about so much. Priya wrote about freedom,
Hmm.
that you set the cuisine free.
Mm.
You
Well,
set it free from the Western standards of food. You set it free in its own form.
mm.
You you are not seeking permissions from 7 or 10 white people to tell you that how what is beauty being defined with. And I struggled for that all my life. I struggled for it. I I sacrificed everything for that moment where, and still to be so emotional about your job every day and to be excited every day. By this time we'll start having the lines of people who are not here to eat. They don't have reservations, they don't have, but they know that I will meet everyone, they know that I'll talk to everyone, they know that
Mm.
someday I fall short because I'm realizing I'm also human, I'm getting old. And then I say I'm getting old, Samir will say no, the king is getting younger. I'm
You
like,
are
no, Samir.
only 54. Give me a break. You are at a
It's a
very
tough
fine
job.
age.
It's a
Yes.
tough job. It's a very physical, demanding job, and
Hmm.
it's not easy job. For people who out there who understand this industry. They will agree with me that it takes a big toll on you. Suddenly, your clock shifts after 50.
Mm.
That every night your body is like, oh my god, it's giving up.
Well, you're on
You
your
have to be
feet.
on
Yeah.
your feet 16, and also so much of anxiety and energy, and not everybody is coming with that energy of the 100-year-old woman. People are coming because they do not understand this restaurant. They're like, So, but you stay so honest to it every
Hmm.
day. I just feel that it's important. This is, you found your happiness. In the
Hmm.
end, people say you found your stars. I say you found your happiness. You found your happiness in the little things, um, of giving people a moment of pride, of telling your kids they are enough.
Hmm.
All night I do that. This is the graduation month, so it's
Right.
more important because I know what it means for Indian parents or South Asian parents. For them, when they're coming for graduation, they only have one wish: please take us to Bungalow. And the kids don't know what to do, but
Right.
they'll bring the parents, and all I tell the kids, you're enough. Do not
Mm.
let anyone tell you. I burnt so many years of my life. I burnt myself just making myself trying to fit into that small box because I was too infinite not to fix into that small pigeonhole. But
Hmm.
now I realize that maybe that was necessary for me to go through so much pain and for someone else to decide my destiny and not the people this cuisine belonged to.
Mm.
I took it away from them, and today I feel very proudly that God gave me another chance to honor them, to celebrate them, to include them.
Mm. I love that. And I'm gonna wrap up the show on that. I hope you don't mind. I'd love to do a little rapid fire Q&A with you.
Yes.
Um, so my last question to you was, before we do the rapid fire, I kind of want to ask my question anyway. You know, with the global rise and recognition of Indian food, what is exciting you about it most right now?
Authenticity,
Mm.
celebration of not the traditional stuff which the world knows,
Hmm.
bringing new dishes and including them in this victory. Um, India is infinite,
Hmm.
and we can't be singular. We are plural. The moment we are born, it's in our DNA. I was born in a Hindu family. I was taught how to cook by Sikh community kitchens. My first teacher in college was a Jewish Indian man and his
Hmm.
wife. My 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 understanding of Indian value came from Jainism. My school was Catholic. I was rescued by a Muslim woman, which changed my entire course of life.
Mm.
I realized that what excites me the most is having this pluralistic vision of India to the table.
Mm. That is exciting. There's
That's
so
exciting.
much out there.
You
Yeah.
included everyone.
Yeah. I love that. Okay. Rapid fire question. Top Chef. Love it or hate it?
Gordon Ramsay.
Okay. um, preferred reservation platform.
What do you mean?
Talk, Resi, Open Table. Do you like a reservation platform? Do you not like a reservation platform? It's very controversial right now with
It is
chefs.
very amazing. What I'm going to tell you is be nice to our front desk. Come to the restaurant. Be nice to them.
Oh,
They are
agreed.
on their feet. Be nice to them. Um, and ask for a future date where you can bring your date or parents or family or your business partners. Be, there's nothing more powerful than human connection.
Mm, agreed. No, you should be kind to everybody. And I really hold people who are unkind to people in the hospitality industry like
Yeah.
at a arm's length, because that just says to me how they treat that they categorize people, and they only treat people that they think are important, and I don't like that. So I'm 100% with you. Okay, last rapid question. Um, let's see, which one do I want to ask you? One thing every young chef needs to understand right now.
Nothing beats hard work.
Okay.
No books, no college degrees, no entitlement, no wealth can ever beat hard work.
Mm. Agreed. And you are a incredible example of putting in the work. So, Chef, I want to thank you so much, so much for taking the time to share your story, your journey with me today. It's your spirituality and hospitality combined is why you are so successful. And I'm so grateful again for you sharing it with me. What strikes me most about your story is that, sort of despite the accolades and the stars, the books, the films, and the global recognition, everything sort of comes back to humility and humanity for you, whether you're feeding people or remembering people. And obviously, Bungalow resonates so deeply right now. I want to thank you for your honesty, your storytelling, and the incredible conversation. I want to thank our guests for joining us today on today's Industry Night. Remember, everything you heard here you can find on the listareyouwantit.com. And please follow me at NYCCINELLIS for all the things I'm doing on all the platforms. And send me a comment. Hit subscribe, hit like, do all those things because they're necessary. And Chef Khanna, thank you again for joining me on today's Industry Night.
Produced by Heartcast Media.